Well, hello everyone and welcome back. And what's on tap for today? Well, we've got another great reaction video of our lovable lunatic leftist women, those lovable losers on The View, which I affectionately call the rear view, those cackling hens. And they're talking about the State of the Union, that Joe Biden, what does he have to do to satisfy their cackling? We're going to get to all of that in the next few seconds. But before we do so, just want to let you know you're watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm your guest host for today. My name is Dr. Nasir. And if you haven't subscribed to the video or if you haven't subscribed to the channel, like, share, follow us, hit that notification bell. We really appreciate it. And let's get to the cackling hens and what they're going to cackle about today.
He will deliver his State of the Union address to the American people tonight, and he's going into it with historically low unemployment, more jobs with higher wages, lower gas prices, and less inflation than the previous months. However, some of his poll numbers are still low. You know how I feel about polls. And there are calls for him not to seek a second term. We got 2 years. I don't know why you calling for him to do anything except what he's supposed to do. But what mess, it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. So, before, they were like, well, he's not going to run. He's too old. And then he ran anyway and he won. Right. And then they said, well, yeah, you did it, it was okay. But, now you're old. Get out.
He was old then.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
And they complained about that.
But I don't understand. If somebody's doing what they're supposed to be doing for the nation, why are you in a rush? At least if you don't want him in, then don't vote for him. But it's 2 years before we got to make that decision. Why are people rushing that?
And look.
Well, we know Whoopi, also appropriating everything, appropriating a name, appropriating a culture, appropriating ethnicity. It's not a real name, but it fits, right? Whenever progressive social justice warriors, woke people want to appropriate, they appropriate. When they want to use it against everybody else, they call everybody else out on it too. What else do you expect from Whoopi Goldberg? She's going to karaoke Brandon's water. She talked about lower gas prices. Yeah, but for a year and a half, we were pummeled with absolutely double-digit gas prices in some parts of the country. Jobs are turning. That jobs number was fraudulent. They say they have to continue to readjust the numbers. I don't know what you're talking about. Real wages may have gone up, but inflation is outpacing the amount of money that people are getting for their paychecks. People are suffering. People are really having a hard time making ends meet. And they continue to peddle the water for, our senile, dementiated president, Joe Brandon. Let's continue.
Look who he's up against, too. He's got flip-flopper Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
He's got book burner DeSantis.
Yeah.
He's got Pence, always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Yeah. Joy's almost as good as Trump with nicknames.
And then he's got Trump, who makes George Santos look like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Stick it out, Joe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Can I just point out that Joe Biden and I are the same age? Would you say that I could not do my job for the next 4 years?
Can also,
Of course I can.
Yeah.
Listen, Joyless Behar, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Any idiot with a mouth and half a brain could probably do your show, right? I mean, you are the cackling hens of the rear view. So, you know what? I have a feeling that, our senile, dementiated president, Joe Brandon, he probably could do your show with half a brain probably tied behind his back, if that's all he's got, or maybe a quarter brain, right? Instead of a half-wit, he's a nimwit. Anyways, we're just saying there that to basically be saying that Joe Brandon, who is absolutely in the throes of dementia, and nobody's calling, people are calling him out for it or whatever, but the fact of the matter is that the media, the academia, the hypocrites in Hollywood continue to try to hide his cognitive decline is absolutely just astounding. But what else would you expect from these woke social justice warriors, folks, and the lamestream media, which are the acolytes of the Democratic National Party?
Right. And the haters can go stick their heads in something because I'm not moving out of this seat.
I always point to you when my friends say things like, Joe's too old. I'm like, have you checked Joy Behar out?
Yeah, but you like do the
all the
splits
time
backstage. You you stretch your legs, and I'm like,
Joe Biden.
He couldn't put his foot on the table.
Do I have to do this again?
I've worked alongside you for 6 years. I think you're getting better and better.
I don't know if that really counts.
Okay, now I'm voting for you. I get it.
But, I will say...
Wow, now she's voting for her because she was able to stretch her leg up onto a table. See, I told you, you don't need a brain. You don't need a brain to be on the rear view. You just need a mouth and... I think that's all you need, really. You just need a body with a mouth that'll yak, 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 cluck, 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 cluck. That's it.
I think a lot of Americans feel like this is a relic, and they're sort of apathetic about listening to the State of the Union. But I'd like to remind people that this is a constitutional requirement. It's something that the president is supposed to do. It comes from Article 2, Section 3, Clause 1. And it says the president shall, from time to time, give to the Congress information of the State of the Union and recommend to their consideration such measures as he shall judge. It should say she and he. Yeah, but it says as he shall judge necessary and expedient. And so this is something that every American should listen to because it is a constitutional requirement. I will say, though, that a lot of times presidents do use this to sort of soft campaign and sort of soft find out which issues are palatable. I would like to hear Joe Biden talk about police reform, real police reform.
Assumption Cummings, that another person on the rear view who has misappropriated. This is all the talking points for the progressives and the social justice warriors and the wokesters, right? Because I don't think there's anything that you can appropriate. Everything is fine. But they always talk about everybody else appropriating culture, appropriating names, appropriating clothes, appropriating ethnicity, appropriating race, appropriating everything. Assumption Cummings, appropriating a name, appropriating a culture, all these things here. And then she basically says, oh, I want to hear about police reform. Oh, you mean the police reform that Donald Trump did during his 4 years that was there with the First Step Act and everything. Of course, Joe Brandon hasn't done anything, but you're talking about President Trump. Okay, just wanted to be clear about that, Assumption.
I don't think it should be political theater that Tyree Nichols' parents are going to be there because they are going to be there in the audience.
What about the parents of all the other children that have been killed and murdered in the United States of America, like in Chicago, for example, in Detroit, and all over, in San Francisco, in California? You pick any city run by Democrats predominantly or even run, by Republicans. Where are those parents sitting in there? Huh? I'd like to know.
I'd like to hear him, as Whoopi has often said, talk about education and how it's failing our children because we're not teaching them our history.
Oh, you mean like the public school systems in which we spend more than any civilized nation, any first world nation, and still our kids can't read, they can't do math, they can't find simple sentences, they can't do a damn thing. That's what you're talking about? We just keep pouring money into the public school system trough?
I would like him to talk about the rise in anti-Semitism and what we're going to do about it, the rise in domestic terrorism and what we're going to do about it.
Oh, domestic terrorism, and what are we going to do about it? What about foreign terrorism? What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about the war in Ukraine? What are we going to do about all these other things? What are we going to do about all those other things that are happening, Assumption? What are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that?
I'd like him to talk about the politicization of the Supreme Court and what we're going to do.
Oh, the politicization of the Supreme Court, as if nobody has ever politicized the Supreme Court. No, Democrats haven't done that in the past. Republicans haven't done that in the past. What are you going to do about the politicization of the Supreme Court? He's already done enough. He's already done enough about the politicization of the Supreme Court. What about the politicization of the FBI and the DOJ, the weaponization of those two entities? What about that, Assumption?
About that, and I'd like him to talk about women's reproductive health and what he intends to do about that. Those are the issues that...
Oh my God, OMG, OMG, OMG. There we go, right? Women's reproductive rights. Roe v. Wade. You got to throw that in there. When all else fails, when the kitchen sink and everything else has been thrown against the wall, bring out RVW. Roe v. Wade. I'd like to know what he's going to do about women's reproductive rights. We already know what he's done about that. We already know what he's saying. You know what? Abortion up until the time of birth, even afterwards, doesn't matter. Women have the right to do whatever they want to their bodies. They can kill their babies. They can do whatever the hell that they want. That's what we've already know. What's he going to do about that? That's what Assumption Cummings is asking. Anyways, let's continue on, all right?
The State of the Union. It's not for us. The State of the Union is made for people who are not catching up with the news every 5 minutes, but want to know what he's doing. This is a good opportunity to find out. And you know what? We live in a world where everything has to be like this. I don't want it like this. I want him to speak so I understand what he's saying. And what I need from him desperately is I need for him to say to all those brown kids who adults keep saying your history isn't important. Yeah. I'm your president. I'm telling you it is. I'm your president. I'm telling you that I don't accept, that I do not accept the erasure of black and brown people from America's history, because there is not America's history without these brown and black people. That's what I want to hear him say tonight.
What else would you expect from the race baiter, the race traitor, Whoopi? I'm going to culturally appropriate a different name so I can get some Jewish heritage into my blood. Goldberg, right? What else would you expect her? Pulling out the R card, big R for racist, pulling out the B card, B for bigot, and basically saying, I want him to say that the United States of America was created by brown kids and black kids. Forget about all the Asian kids. Forget about the Latino kids. Forget about the Chinese kids, the Japanese kids, the Irish kids, the Italian kids, all the other kids of immigrants that have come over from here, from the Middle East, from Europe, from Asia, from Africa. Forget about all those kids. I just want to talk about the black and the brown kids that built this nation. That's what I want to hear. That's what you're going to hear from Whoopi the racist, Whoopi the bigot.
Because one of the things that he knows is that women in particular have worked, and particularly brown women, have worked their butts off to make sure that he became the president. And I need to hear him say, this bonehead in Florida and in Texas is out of step with America. Yeah. He's out of step with who we are.
They're out of step, right? That's why they got elected with, Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis in Florida and Texas, respectively. That's why they got elected in sweeping victories. They're so out of step with the United States of America. You know who's out of step with America? The rear view, the cackling hens. You, Whoopi Goldberg. You, Joyless Behar. You, Assumption Cummings. Alyssa Farrah Griffith, whatever, Sarah Hines, all you guys in your audience, a majority of them, completely out of step. You are completely diametrically opposed to what this country is all about. You have your opinions. They're leftist, they're liberal, they're socialist, they're Marxist, they're completely wrong. But it's you folks that need to look in a mirror and find out that it's your opinions, your policies that are taking America down the wrong path.
As a nation, because there is no nation without us. And I need to hear him say that as my president.
Yes.
I need to know that he's aware that there are freaks out there who are trying to change history, and he's not going to stand for it. That's what I want from you, Joe. Now,
here's the whole thing. Whoopi, look in a mirror when you talk about those freaks, because some of those freaks are on the rear view, the panel of freaks that are trying to change the United States of America with your social justice warrior, woke, hypocritical, leftist policies, leftist opinions, wokeness up the wazoo. It is you guys that are the freaks if you're out there tossing names. So what I ask is to shine that mirror brightly on yourself, take a good hard look, and I think you'll agree with me that you folks are the epitome of what I call simmer. Stupid, idiotic, moronic, and retarded. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you watching us here on the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your guest host for today. My name is Dr. Nasir. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow us. Hit that notification bell, and I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.